This is a journal that I made a few years ago. I made it, this was one of the first journals I made actually. I had just bought my crocodile, so I put the signatures in with the eyelets, and I used green embroidery floss to match the cover. But this journal comes with a little bit of a story, so we'll go through it while we talk about this. This is a book by A.A. Milne, who does Winnie the Pooh, and if you're interested in making one of these out of this book, I actually have a pair of A.A. Milne books in my Etsy store right now, and this is one of them. So you can head on over. I left the library pocket in here. So the story goes like this. I made this journal, and shortly after I made it, I took pictures and posted it, not to sell, but to, you know, just share what I had made. And a friend of mine named Emily contacted me asking me how much for it, because she had just gained custody of her nephew, and so her family, including her, became 6. She has 4 kids of her own. It would have been 4 kids, herself, and her nephew. I told her $20, and it just never worked out that I had it on me when we saw each other, or, you know, it just didn't work out that she got it. And a few weeks ago, in her sleep, Emily passed away. And I think it was last year, she had gotten full custody and had adopted her nephew. So he was officially, you know, one of her children. And she was an incredible, incredible, incredible mother. A mother that I aspire to be like. And, you know, she is my age. She was a couple years younger than I am. And her oldest is 16, and her youngest is 8. And I want to send this to them, and I want to make a video of it first so that I can document this little book that I made. And I included songs, you know, the little songs and the little poems from the book itself. And I just really feel bad that I never got a chance to get it to her. So I hope her kids, even if not right now, might someday appreciate it and appreciate the sentiment behind it. And I'm going to write a letter explaining this whole story, because her kids don't know me well and her family doesn't know me. We were friends that were connected on a different level. We were kindred spirits in a lot of ways, and we didn't see each other much, but we talked a lot on Facebook. And the last conversation that I had with her, she had explained to me about, you know, government assistance that she was getting because of the inflation. You know, she had applied for government assistance and she had gotten it. And with some of the excess that she had received due to COVID, you know, the federal government had given out a lot of extra money to, especially to families with children, and any of the extra that she had, she was using to buy some food for some of her elderly neighbors. So whatever they didn't need in their house, she then spent the rest on them. And I thought, and that was just so Emily, you know, that was just so her. And you know, we talked a lot on Facebook, but she was always so supportive of everything I did and everything I made. And she shared my Etsy shop constantly. And you know, at Christmas time when I posted my little snarky bookmarks and things like that, she shared them. And because of her, I ended up with some customers that will be lifelong customers, you know, local people that buy things from my store and buy things from me, and, you know, that I've developed relationships with. But she was a cheerleader for everyone. Everyone. She was so encouraging, and she was so optimistic, and, you know, she wasn't dealt a phenomenal hand of cards in life, but she really just made the best of the whole thing, and that is reflected so much so in her children. And like I said, even though they don't know me well, they've seen me a few times, but they don't know me well, I know, and I can see the wonderful job that she has done with them through what she's shared online and stuff. And my heart just breaks for those, you know, those kids. And I hope that this, even if not today and not next year, maybe in the future, they can use this to collect some memories of her and, you know, share some stories. And flipping through it now, you know, and I see this tree from a tree stamp that I got, and it just doesn't look good because the tree stamp is very, very old. It's very dried out, so the picture doesn't fill in all the way. But I see the tree, and I just think about her love of nature. And she was always spending time at the rivers nearby. And I just had to share her story. And I had to tell her story because there really aren't a whole lot of phenomenal people in this world anymore. And if there is a soul that was so pure and so full of love and so full of life, a soul that touched every other soul that it came across, it was hers. And I really hope that her family appreciates this. And, you know, like I said, if you want to make something, the books, they are full of poems and little pieces of song and poetry. I do have those. I do have a pair in my Etsy store, and I'll leave the link to my store below. It's actually the very last listing in my shop, so you'll have to go to the next page in my listings. But I want to thank you if you stayed this long to listen to me ramble and cry. But I'm gonna miss our talks, and I'm gonna miss having a cheerleader. I'm gonna miss having, you know, that kindness to always turn to. And you know, if there was anyone in the world that I would trust my babies with, it would be her. And it almost came down to that when I was in the hospital having Vera. I didn't have anyone to take Lily, and she wasn't allowed in the hospital because of the start of flu season that year. She wasn't allowed in, so I didn't have anyone, and it was becoming an emergency situation. So she was on the ready. She was waiting for the call to have to go get Lil, you know, and she was willing to come down to Winston, you know, an hour away to the hospital to get her. So she was just a phenomenal person, and I was so fortunate to have her in my life. And I'm sure every other person that knew her feels the same way I do, and just feels fortunate to have had her. And I just wanted her story to live on a little bit, even if it's just to my few followers on YouTube. At least I can come back and watch this and remember her through this book. So thank you all so much for listening to my rambling, and I will see you all soon. Ta-ta for now.